I don't want to say those words.
I know, literally, you saw me, I was just like,
I didn't want to say those words, you know what I'm
headache.
saying? So let's get into the topic today. What are we talking about?
Yeah, well, what are we talking about?
Bro, I would put that clip in when we could not figure out the word. We could not figure out the word. What word was it? We could say what was it? Reputation.
Reputation.
That's what we're talking about today. Reputation, face cards, and like how much because of those things we literally limit ourselves and we don't even feel like speaking up for what's true, what's right, because we're scared of what so might say or what the rest of society might think of us.
Yeah, group mentality is a real thing, and having our behavior shift depending on who's there, who's watching, who will respond. That's
bullying happens and like just so much stuff because people are afraid of not being accepted. People are afraid of being rejected, and because of that we're living in a very fucked up society, you guys.
Yep. Growing up, personally, I learned really quickly to like be my authentic self. I feel like a lot of that kind of just stemmed from not wearing hijab in the Somali community and certain people having like ideas about me that like weren't true. So I think I learned really fast that like you could be the ideal person, you could check all those boxes and people would still have something to say.
Exactly.
Right? So might as well do you.
Exactly. I mean, you guys have heard about the saying where like if a woman is single, she'll be told why you're not married. If a woman gets married, she'll be told, why don't you have kids? If a woman has her first child, she'll be told, when's the next one coming?
Right.
Like, no matter what, bro.
You can't satisfy.
You can't satisfy
society.
So fuck other people.
Right.
Do it for yourself. Do what makes you happy. At the end of the day, you're only living this life one time.
One time, so do it right.
Do it right. Make the most out of it. Like, you're told in society, like, don't be selfish. Don't, you know? Don't be fucking thinking about yourself all the time. But like, my nigga, you're the only person you got. Nobody else is thinking about you.
Of course, and then like I think we also recognize that it's a little bit easier said than done.
Of
right?
course.
Just like psychologically, we're really like wired. Some of us more than others to be like very people pleasing.
Yeah.
So I think it can be hard to be authentic.
It is.
And to just do what you desire without the influence of other people. Which is a whole nother discussion because I feel like we're constantly being influenced.
Yes.
Whether or not we're aware of it subconsciously.
We're being programmed, you guys.
Yeah.
From our parents programming us to TV, to our
school,
teachers.
to everything. Like everything is an interaction.
Exactly.
Our screen time on our phones, conversations, literature, TVs, movies, books, everything that we are constantly soaking in throughout the day changes our minds.
Exactly.
And it's just like, that's a whole nother thing, but that's why it's really important to be careful of content you consume.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that another time.
I know it, like music and stuff like that. Like
she knows that's something I'm very like
passionate about.
Yeah, I'm like very weird about like
yeah.
I just got to make sure what you're putting in your mind.
Yeah.
Can change ideas about yourself.
A lot of insecurities too happen because of that. But that's a whole other topic.
Right.
We're gonna get into that a different day.
Yes.
But yeah, so reputation and face cards, like that's something that's that word I hear in the community a lot. Like like he has a fucked up face card, or like he's a druggie, that's his face card, or she's a I didn't want to say those words.
I know, literally, you saw me, I was just like,
I didn't want to say those words, you know what I'm saying? So it's just
y'all, stop the demeaning language.
Yeah.
Especially against women, stop.
Yeah. Maybe give a personal time in your life where like you feel like because of reputation, let it be your reputation or somebody else, value reputation so much, how you interacted with that, how it made you feel, shit like that. Just maybe some personal instances.
Well, I guess just like personal experience, something I kind of think about, I don't think anybody's spared from caring about their reputation. I think it's all in us to a certain degree. I think the percentages kind of just, I feel like that's a moving scale. I think from really early on, growing up in the Somali community, not wearing a hijab, I think it's starting to be a little bit normalized now, but especially when I was younger, I feel like that wasn't like the most common occurrence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I went to like a school, in inner cities Minneapolis, where there was a really big population of Somali people. Shout out to, you know, people who went to middle school and elementary with me. Yeah, and I think just receiving a lot of like preconceived ideas about what people thought of me because of my lack of hijab kind of just taught me really early on that people are gonna judge regardless,
no matter what.
And people will always find something. You can be like the most stand-up person, you can check all these theoretical boxes, and people will still have something to say. So I think just from like learning that at a really young age, I just kind of came to know that you might as well just be authentic and do you. At least that way you'll be happy. you know? Yeah.
Like during the whole like Me Too movement, like me and even my sister and a lot of people that I personally know have been really like vocal about sharing like stories of survivors and stuff like that, and like so many people are like calling me left and right like, girl, like you don't want to be known for this. Known for what? Just
standing up for women?
Yeah, what? Like it's like reputation and like face card and just like what people think of people. This summer, wallahi, it blew my mind as to how scared people are just because they don't want to like mess with this group of people or something. Like, it's so sad.
Right.
To the point where, first of all, forget me, to the point where people were getting jumped, houses where like parents were like getting in, like, how you gonna bring parents in? Oh my god.
Know.
Anyways, enough about that. But yeah, so like to the point where like a lot of friends did not fuck with me because of how much like how outspoken I was. Do you know what I'm saying? And outspoken for the sake of Allah, for the betterment and like of the community. So,
but you know what? Not to interject, but if people, I believe if those friends, so-called friends, were to so-called not fuck with you because you're doing the right thing, are those friends you want to have in the first place?
Wallahi, be like, bro, I was so happy. I was like, it's simple. Like something I always tell people is like, peep the people around you, peep what's going on, and make your moves from that. Play chess from that. You know what I'm saying? So like when you see people moving snaky and weird and just not something that you want to have a part of your life, that you don't want to see in your own future, because the more you have these people around you, the more they're gonna bring you down. Do you know what I'm saying? If you don't want to have that a part of your future, then my nigga, the world is big.
100%.
The world is big. Move on.
Yeah, and I mean, not so much related, but based off of what you said, something I've kind of just come to know this year is that a lot of people are not as capable as you think to like have sit down conversations and talk through things.
They're not. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Maturity is something that's lacking in a lot of people. Emotional intelligence is something that's lacking in a lot of people.
And I'm not saying I have it or we have it. We're like learning. We like are definitely having to navigate conversations with each other, with our other friends, with family constantly, or we're having to challenge ourselves and our ability to listen and hear and advocate for ourselves. So
we're always growing.
We're always growing.
We are.
But just the want to really be like, hey, I value you as a person. We might not see eye to eye on this. Let's figure out what's working or what's not working. See the other person's perspective. A lot of people, that's not something that they would do even when they really care about someone. Yeah. That's something I've kind of found out this year.
And I think, okay, let's talk about reputation. I think the reason why is people take shit so personally. They take something like I don't even know. Like something could be bigger. Something could be more like, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. But the person's gonna take it personally. Like, how dare you say this? Like, it's not an attack on you, my nigga. It's an attack on society. It's an attack on culture. But you're gonna take it personally, and then you're gonna shut down. You're not gonna be able to have a conversation from that point on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Multiple times where I've had friends who've wanted to do something, but wouldn't because of what other people would think about them. Yeah. And it's nothing bad. Like, it's nothing by any means that was bad or necessarily like haram or like looked down upon. Just something that's maybe like a little bit uncomfortable or out of, I don't know.
Yeah. For example, Santana's is a spot by the U of M. They sell stuff like I think hookah stuff and stuff like that, right? But there's a grill where they sell burgers and stuff like that.
Right.
So I've had situations in the past where like friends are like, I'm not gonna be caught dead there, and we're trying to grab a burger. We're trying to grab a burger. Like we're not there for nothing else. But it's like because of that scene, because of the people that may go there on a regular, like they don't want their face card, their reputation to get fucked up. So they're not gonna get food.
Like, and it's just so crazy that we give all of this weight to what people will think of us. Because I'm a firm believer, if you know who you are, if Allah knows who you are, and the people who are the most close to you know, then why do you care what all these other people are gonna think?
Why do you care?
Because if you ain't doing it, then...
But then again, why do you care?
Even if they think they know.
Yeah, fuck that shit. But no, why do you care? A lot of it comes from our parents. Especially in our culture, bro. Face card is the biggest thing. Reputation is the biggest thing in the Somali culture. And it's so sad. Like our parents, oh my god.
Which is a whole nother reason, to link this to mental health. Reputation is the reason that a lot of people can't get the help that they need.
Yes.
Because their parents are so scared, are so like afraid of what other people will think of their children, that they suppress whatever issue is going on, so much so that the individual feels ashamed of whatever is going on personally in their life and does not seek help. Because they're also made to believe that whatever that is going on is shameful. That's just...
And to piggyback off of that, same thing with divorce and same thing with domestic violence. Like niggas will not leave, women will not leave their husbands because they're afraid of what the community will think of them. And even more so, they're afraid that they can never get married again because they're labeled as a divorcee. That's her face card. Like,
which is such a wild concept to me.
So fucking wild, bro. Let a nigga fuck me up, I'm getting divorced, and I'm getting married right after that, baby boy. What you mean?
It's just like, when I hear things like that, like, who's gonna like marry me? It just goes back full circle, like, why would you want someone who would have that ideology in the first place?
Ooh. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Why would you want a man who would see someone as like someone who is divorced as less?
Exactly.
Why would you even want that?
Nope. But it's something that can be learned. That's something that you can grow from.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? This is not a one-day thing. You gotta work on it, and I think a lot of it has to do with security, self-security, insecurities. Do you know what I'm saying? I think the more you work on your insecurities, the more secure you are with yourself, the more you'll focus on reputation and what other people think of you. Because you're going to be living your most authentic life. You know what I'm saying? So,
I'm just starting to think that, like, I have a journal and I journal pretty often. I'm thinking about certain occurrences that have come up where it was something that I said no to that I was kind of interested in maybe doing. And I've definitely, like, spent some time before in my life just kind of journaling, why is it that I'm saying that I don't want to do it if I kind of have a feeling that I know that I do, like kind of just where is that coming from, and what am I scared of, you know? And it's just funny that when you like do the work and you just try and like figure out where it's coming from, it becomes these superficial things, you know, and just really you holding yourself back.
You limiting yourself.
100%.
Yes, and that's not what we do here. We're not limiting nobody.
Nope, we are here to defy.
We are here to defy, my nigga. But no, that's great. That's a great exercise to do, you guys. Like for real, if you guys want to work on it, work on yourselves. You know, do some shadow work. It's basically what she was saying. You want to do something, or something happens, and you have these feelings, these emotions that come to you, but then like you don't want to feel them. Like usually what we do is we push our emotions down. We're like, I'm not feeling this, or I don't care. I'm not gonna listen to what my body is saying. I'm not gonna listen to what my heart's feeling, right? I'm not gonna listen to my breathing, because breathing says a lot as well. But when you do listen to it, when you're like, okay, I'm feeling anxious right now. Why am I feeling anxious? Okay, it's because this person said something. Why does that bother me? Okay, it's kind of like what you did, you know what I'm saying? Asking yourself these questions, figuring out what the root is, and then from then on being like, okay, why does this bother me so much? Why is this having this effect on me? And then from then on, you're doing shadow work and you're like working on it. You're figuring out coping mechanisms. You're talking about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then from then on, you know what your triggers are. You know what bothers you, and you can work from it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
shadow work.
Shadow work.
Do it.
Search it up, because that was not a great explanation.
No, I thought it was very thorough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, any other like tips and advices to help people like try to push through this like reputation barrier, like this like what people think of me, like this wall that like, you know, a lot of us build up, which we still have up too, obviously. But we're breaking that bitch.
We're trying to break. Another thing I remind myself of, which sounds kind of funny when it's said out loud, but I sometimes remind myself that everybody else has shit going on.
Yeah.
Like shit that we don't know about. Yeah. So it's like if I'm like, oh, here's this thing that the society is telling me to be ashamed about that's going on in my life or something along the lines, I'm like, you know what? Whether or not people are speaking about it, whether or not people are just being open about it, everyone's going through something.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like, who does it benefit to like not talk about these things or to suppress, you know?
Yeah. Everyone has demons of their own.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times is what hinders me from asking for help. It hinders me from like being vocal about my own shit, because I'm like, that person's already dealing with their own stuff. I don't want to be a burden.
No.
I don't want to put more on their plate. But it's a fucked up mindset, bro. It really is, because then you're limiting yourself then again from having these normal human experiences where we are communities, we are there to be there for each other.
Right.
But yeah, I guess I'm just talking to myself right now.
No, and that's important. I think, for example, I think when individuals stand up and they say, hey, this is something that I'm going through, this is something I'm struggling with in my life, if people were to stand up and all kind of vocalize the normal human issues that we have going on, I think that it's a lot easier then to formulate resources.
Exactly.
Right? Because it's like, my son went through this as well. My daughter went through this as well. You kind of normalize the conversation, which is how the healing starts.
Exactly.
So I really feel as though like reputation and the whole obsession with it, it's not helping anybody.
It's not
our community, not society, because this is a societal issue. It's universal.
It's the whole world.
Yeah, it cares about reputation. We're just
yeah.
talking about what we know and our experiences in our community.
Exactly. But yeah, I think we talked about a lot, got to know each other a little bit more, you know. We talked about some experiences that we've had with reputation, talked about some ways we could better ourselves and work on it. We just want to know what y'all think. Maybe comment down below some of your experiences or your thoughts on like why does reputation hold such a heavy value in our world, in our society. And where does it come from? What different avenues does it come from? Does it come from our TVs? Does it come from our books, our teachers? Does it come from our homes? And why? Like, why?
And how do you combat that?
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We appreciate all your support. Please like and subscribe below. And just continue challenging yourself, figuring out how you can get closer to what is the real you, what is the most authentic you, minus what everyone else has to think about you.
Exactly. And then please, we want to know what you guys want to see, what topics you guys want to hear about, learn about. So please comment down below what y'all want to talk about. Like,
let us know.
Anything. There is nothing that is off limits.
100%.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Bye guys. So that's good.
Yeah.